Hello friends. If you were born on February 28th, you're not just a Pisces, you're an ethereal mix of dreamer, healer, mystic, and magician. The last days of February carry a certain spiritual weight, and those born on the 28th ride the fine line between this world and the next. With one foot in reality and the other in the world of imagination, you possess a depth that can't be easily explained, and certainly never ignored. Let's unpack your cosmic blueprint in detail: love, sex, friendship, career, numerology, and a deep dive into alternative horoscopes like Druidic, Vedic, flower, and stone astrology. Buckle in, your stars have a lot to say. Pisces, born on February 28th, the soulful chameleon. To be born on February 28th is to embody the very essence of Pisces in its most mysterious, enchanting, and paradoxical form. You are the twilight between winter and spring, the final breath of the zodiac before the cosmic cycle resets. Symbolized by two fish swimming in opposite directions, your existence is a daily dialogue between spirit and flesh, dreams and duty, solitude and service. This constant push and pull gives you an air of timeless wisdom, as though you've lived 1,000 lives and have returned simply to feel it all once more. Your ruling planet, Neptune, casts a watercolor haze over your personality. It blesses you with imagination and spiritual sensitivity, but it can also blur lines between reality and illusion. Neptune is the cosmic poet, the silent whisperer of dreams, and its influence makes you naturally attuned to the emotions, intentions, and even the hidden pains of others. When someone walks into a room, you don't just see them, you feel them. This deep sensitivity is your gift, but also your burden. Your element is water, the great connector of the zodiac. Water signs absorb energy, and as a Pisces born on February 28th, you don't just absorb it, you merge with it. This is why you're often mistaken for being shy or withdrawn, when in truth, you're simply feeling everything at once. It can be overwhelming. In a crowded room, your nervous system might be conducting a symphony of vibrations, each tied to someone else's joy, anxiety, or grief. You feel more than most people think. That is both your beauty and your challenge. Your modality is mutable, which makes you flexible, adaptive, and often chameleon-like in social settings. You adjust to people's moods, expectations, and energies so seamlessly that others rarely see your own inner turmoil. You're the person everyone confides in, the one others lean on in quiet desperation, but few ask you how you're doing. Because you appear so understanding, so in control of emotion, it's easy for others to forget you're vulnerable too. Amethyst, your birthstone, is perfectly aligned with your spiritual frequency. It's a stone of intuition, protection, and higher wisdom, everything that makes up the core of your essence. If you meditate with amethyst or wear it regularly, it amplifies your psychic gifts while offering the grounding you so desperately need. Your lucky colors, sea green, lavender, and soft pink, aren't just pleasing to the eye. They resonate on an energetic level. Sea green mirrors your emotional depth and affinity with the subconscious ocean of feeling. Lavender reflects your otherworldly mind, your connection to dreams, and your healing nature. Soft pink represents the endless compassion you carry in your heart, that gentle love you offer to the world without expecting much in return. Emotionally, you're layered like mist over water, beautiful, untouchable, but undeniably present. Artistically, your imagination knows no bounds. Whether you're creating art, telling stories, or simply envisioning a life yet to be lived, you possess a limitless creative force. But the key is learning how to bring those visions into the real world without letting them drown you. Many born on February 28th struggle with escapism, be it through fantasy, relationships, or substances. Your spiritual openness makes you vulnerable to addiction, not necessarily to drugs or alcohol, but often to love, attention, or approval. You must ground your spirit in something solid: creativity, service, or a meaningful spiritual practice. Your personality keywords: empathic, artistic, dreamy, compassionate, and idealistic, only scratch the surface. You're a soul reader, a silent counselor, a walking contradiction of vulnerability and strength. People are drawn to you not just because you're kind, but because being near you feels like being understood without words. You make people feel seen, and in a world starving for empathy, that is nothing short of alchemy. Love and romance, hopeless romantic or secret escapist. Love, for you, is not a matter of chance. It's a quest, a journey into the soul of another in search of something divine. You don't fall in love in pieces. You fall all at once, drowning in the emotional undertow of intimacy. For someone born on February 28th, romance is not about flirtation or games. It's about union, the kind that blurs the boundary between me and you. You want to dissolve into your partner, to understand them from the inside out, to become their emotional mirror and safe place. Your love is a sacrament. You treat your partner with reverence, often placing them on pedestals they never asked for. This can lead to heartbreak when reality fails to match the fantasy you've built around the person. It's not that you're naive, it's just that your heart sees potential where others only see flaws. You fall for people's souls, for their broken parts, their childhood wounds, their untapped beauty. You love who they could become, not always who they are. And when they fall short, it's not just disappointment, it's disillusionment. You're incredibly affectionate and loyal. You'll listen without judgment, love without restraint, and forgive more than you should. You're the kind of lover who writes letters, leaves surprise notes, remembers birthdays, and supports your partner's dreams more fiercely than your own. You crave emotional closeness, shared secrets, and sacred rituals. But when your emotional needs aren't met, you may retreat into the safe world of imagination, crafting a fantasy version of the relationship and pretending things are fine. This is where the escapism creeps in. You may convince yourself you're happy simply because you need the relationship to work. You want to believe in love so badly that you ignore red flags until it's too late. That's why choosing the right partner is absolutely essential for your happiness. A partner who grounds you, balances your romanticism with realism, and protects your heart without stifling your soul is not just ideal, it's non-negotiable. Among your best matches, Cancer stands out. Their emotional intelligence mirrors yours, and their nurturing nature makes you feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Together, you create a home that is both sanctuary and playground for the heart. You speak the same language, one built on feelings, intuition, and subtle gestures. Scorpio is another profound match. There's an electric chemistry between the two of you, but it goes deeper than passion. Scorpios challenge you, intrigue you, and force you to grow. You, in turn, soften their intensity and help them access emotions they often keep buried. Your bond is magnetic, spiritual, and transformative. Taurus offers the grounding you often lack. Their sensual presence, practical stability, and commitment to beauty align well with your dreamy disposition. They become your anchor, and you become their muse. It's a love built slowly, but one that can last lifetimes. Capricorn, though different in temperament, can be a surprisingly ideal partner. They teach you structure, help you build a tangible life around your dreams, and admire your softness. You, in turn, remind them to feel, to let go, to live beyond their to-do list. It's a builder and dreamer dynamic that, when mutual respect exists, becomes unstoppable. Challenging pairings start with Gemini. Though intellectually stimulating, Geminis often lack the emotional depth you crave. Their inconsistency can feel like rejection, and their playfulness can come across as insincerity. They may dazzle you at first, but you'll eventually feel unseen and unheard. Sagittarius poses another challenge. While their optimism and adventurous spirit are appealing, they often prioritize freedom over commitment. You, who crave emotional intimacy and long, meandering conversations about the meaning of life, may find their love of surface-level interaction frustrating. It's not that they don't care, it's that they don't dwell, and you dwell by nature. Aries is the trickiest match. Their impulsive, sometimes self-centered behavior can clash violently with your gentle soul. While the initial chemistry might be fiery, sustaining a relationship requires deep compromise. Aries may see your sensitivity as weakness, while you see their bluntness as cruelty. Unless both parties evolve significantly, this pairing can leave you emotionally battered. In the end, your romantic life will always be colored by depth, dreams, and divine longing. You're not here for casual love. You're here to merge souls, to hold hands through lifetimes, to write poetry in someone's heartbeat. But remember, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. Don't lose your identity in pursuit of oneness. Find the one who lets you keep your soul, even as you share your heart. Marriage, a sacred union of souls. For someone born on February 28th, marriage is never entered lightly. It's not about paperwork or societal expectation. It's about destiny. It's about two souls choosing each other not just for this lifetime, but possibly for others. You don't view marriage as a practical arrangement or a checklist item. To you, it's sacred space. A holy commitment, a spiritual merging. When you say, I do, what you're really saying is, I see you. I feel you. I choose you in every lifetime. That's the emotional depth you bring into the concept of marriage. But because your expectations are so high, not in terms of status, looks, or wealth, but in emotional substance, you often wait longer than others to find the right partner. You might go through soul-shaking relationships first, the kind that leave invisible scars but also awaken you to what you truly need. These relationships aren't failures, they're initiations. Through heartbreak, betrayal, or emotional distance, you learn not just who others are, but who you are. And more importantly, who you will no longer become for the sake of love. You are, by nature, a giver in relationships. You will bend, shape-shift, and sacrifice to make love work. But over time, you learn that true marriage isn't about dissolving into someone, it's about being seen and celebrated for your full self. You begin to understand that love, real love, should not cost you your boundaries, your dreams, or your voice. And once you know that, you attract a partner who honors you for who you are, not who you could be if you just gave a little more. Your ideal spouse is someone with both emotional intelligence and a grounded nature. Someone who sees your soft heart not as a weakness but as a strength. They know when to hold you, when to challenge you, when to simply sit with you in silence. They don't just love your light, they love your shadow, your sensitivity, your complexities. They don't need to fix you or control you, they simply respect you. That is the kind of dynamic that leads to a marriage rooted in soul connection rather than surface compatibility. In marriage, you are incredibly loyal. You're not just a partner, you're a co-dreamer, a healer, a nurturer, and an intuitive guide. You anticipate your partner's needs often before they're even spoken. You remember anniversaries they forgot, notice moods they can't articulate, and hold space for growth in ways that feel almost magical. But this depth can be exhausting if not reciprocated. That's why your marriage must be built on mutual energy exchange. You deserve a partner who pours into you as much as you pour into them. Someone who doesn't just take, but gives, with intention, gratitude, and heart. You tend to flourish in marriages where there is a spiritual or emotional mission behind the union. Whether it's raising conscious children, building a creative legacy, or simply evolving together, you need your relationship to mean something. You don't do shallow, you don't do convenience, you do purpose. If the marriage lacks meaning, it starts to feel like a cage. And when that happens, even your loving heart will begin to close. Because you're ruled by Neptune, you may also have the tendency to idealize your partner early in the relationship. You might see their potential rather than their patterns. That's why it's important for you to take your time before marrying. The more time you spend grounded in your own emotional truth, the better you become at recognizing someone who's truly aligned with your spirit versus someone who simply fills a temporary void. When you marry for the right reasons, to share a soulful connection, to grow together, to love without condition, you become an incredible partner. Devoted, creative, empathic, romantic, your marriage can become a haven, a sanctuary of shared vulnerability and mutual respect. Just remember, your love deserves to be matched, not just received. Wait for the one who meets your soul with the same reverence you offer theirs. Sexuality, passion that borders on the mystical. For those born on February 28th, sex is never just sex. It's alchemy, it's energy, it's an unspoken language that transcends the physical and dips into the spiritual. Your sexuality is not transactional, and it's definitely not performative, it's sacred. It's emotional, It's wrapped in layers of trust, imagination, and mutual surrender. To be with you intimately is to be invited into a secret garden, a dimension of sensuality where love is not just felt, it's experienced on a cellular level. Before you can truly open up sexually, you need to feel emotionally safe. For you, mental and emotional intimacy is the real foreplay. You crave connection that goes beyond skin, beyond chemistry. You want someone who sees you, feels you, matches your vulnerability with their own. That's when your true sensuality awakens, and when it does, it's nothing short of magnetic. You're the kind of lover who isn't afraid to take your time, to read between the lines, to explore pleasure as a form of emotional expression. You listen, not just with your ears, but with your body, your intuition, your soul. Because you're ruled by Neptune, you're deeply imaginative in the bedroom. You intuit what your partner needs, even if they don't know how to ask for it. Your touch can be soft and healing, or powerful and transformative, depending on what the moment calls for. You're never just going through the motions. Every moment of intimacy is intentional, artistic, emotionally charged. It's a dance, a story, a merging of energies. Your sensual nature is not rooted in ego or conquest, but in union. You want to melt into your partner, to create a space where masks drop and souls meet. And when you trust someone fully, you become uninhibited, not in a reckless way, but in a deeply connected, transcendent way. You bring tenderness where it's needed, intensity where it's desired, and presence that lingers long after the moment ends. Sex with you is not forgettable. It becomes a memory etched into your partner's heart. However, this depth means you're not well suited for casual encounters. Physical connection without emotional substance leaves you feeling empty, even disoriented. You need meaning behind every touch. Without it, sex becomes hollow, and you begin to disconnect, not just from your partner, but from yourself. It's not that you're prudish or shy. On the contrary, you can be deeply passionate. But your passion is sacred, not superficial. You're also prone to absorbing your partner's emotional energy during intimacy. If they're carrying unresolved pain or turmoil, you might take it on as your own without even realizing it. That's why choosing your sexual partners carefully is so important. It's not just your body on the line, it's your spirit. Protecting your energetic boundaries is key, even within long-term relationships. Because when your emotional health is supported, your sexual energy becomes radiant, healing, and expansive. Your fantasies are rich and multi-layered, often involving emotional scenarios, spiritual symbolism, or acts of surrender that go beyond domination and submission. You're drawn to the merging of minds and souls, not just bodies. This makes you an attentive, generous lover who places immense value on connection before climax. Ultimately, your sexuality is an expression of your essence, soulful, intuitive, and transformative. You don't just make love, you create experiences. Sacred experiences, ones that leave your partner feeling not only desired, but deeply known. And in a world obsessed with speed and surface, your kind of passion is revolutionary. Friendship, the therapist everyone cries to. If you were born on February 28th, you weren't just born to make friends, you were born to heal them. There's something in your energy, your eyes, your voice, even your silence, that makes people feel safe. Instantly, you radiate this quiet, nurturing presence that invites confession. People tell you their secrets before they even realize they've opened their mouth. Strangers on buses, cashiers at the grocery store, even animals seem to gravitate toward you with an unspoken trust. Why? Because you see people, not just their faces, but their fears, their hurts, their hidden stories. In every friend group, you're the one people lean on when life unravels. You're the 2 a.m. phone call, the emotional first responder, the intuitive advisor who somehow always knows what to say, or when to say nothing at all. Your empathy isn't just a trait, it's your operating system. You feel your friend's pain like it's your own, and you're often more invested in their healing than they are. You'll send them music to lift their spirits, read between their texts, sense when they're not okay even if they insist they are. You don't just listen, you absorb. And that makes you unforgettable. But this extraordinary gift comes with a heavy cost, emotional burnout. Because as much as you want to help, you must recognize that you're not everyone's emotional landfill. Your soul is not a dumpster for drama. You have to learn how to set energetic boundaries, or you'll end up drained, resentful, or chronically exhausted without knowing why. The truth is, not everyone deserves the kind of love you give so freely. Some people are emotional vampires, and if you're not careful, they'll feast on your light without ever offering a candle of their own. One of your biggest life lessons is learning the sacred power of no. Saying no doesn't mean you're unkind or selfish. It means you value your energy, your time, your heart. True friends, the ones who deserve your loyalty, won't guilt-trip you when you set limits. They'll respect them. In fact, your best friendships tend to come from signs who are emotionally stable and energetically grounded, people who give as much as they take. Virgos make exceptional friends for you. Their practical nature balances your emotional tides. They bring clarity, structure, and gentle grounding to your otherwise fluid world. You love their honesty, and they admire your emotional intelligence. Together, you create a friendship rooted in respect, trust, and shared service to others. Cancers, fellow water signs, are your emotional twins. You share a deep, intuitive connection that rarely needs words. Your bond is like home, nurturing, soft, and full of quiet comfort. You both crave emotional security, and once trust is built, the friendship becomes a refuge from the chaos of life. Tauruses offer you loyalty, stability, and consistency. They don't just talk about being there for you, they show up. Again and again, their calm presence and steady affection allow you to relax, knowing you don't have to be the strong one all the time. In return, you shower them with emotional depth they secretly crave but rarely articulate. You can have fun with fiery signs, like Leo or Sagittarius, but those friendships often feel more like fireworks than long-burning candles. They may dazzle you, inspire you, even teach you a thing or two, but at the end of the day, you need friendships that recharge you, not drain you. You need quiet laughter, not just loud parties. Meaningful conversations, not just entertainment. You need soul food, not just social snacks. The most beautiful part of your friendship style is your loyalty. Once someone earns your trust, you're there for life. You remember the tiny details. You celebrate their wins like they're your own. You'll forgive them 100 times, sometimes to your own detriment. But with time and wisdom, you begin to understand that friendship isn't just about giving. It's about mutual devotion, and the moment you find friends who water your soul as much as you water theirs, that's when your life blooms in the most extraordinary way. Career and business, the idealist with a hustler's brain. People often underestimate you in the professional world, and that's their first mistake. With your dreamy eyes and soft-spoken energy, you might come across as too emotional, too artistic, too idealistic to thrive in high-stakes environments. But the truth is, you're a visionary disguised as a romantic. You don't just have ideas, you have visions, and they're often years ahead of their time. You feel what's coming, you intuit trends. You don't need a 5-step plan when your instincts already know the shortcut. You have a mind that swims in creativity, but a soul that thrives on meaning. So for you, work must matter. You can't stay in a job that feels soulless, mechanical, or void of purpose. You need to believe in what you're doing, to feel like your energy is contributing to something bigger, something that helps, heals, or inspires others. The moment you feel boxed in by corporate jargon, shallow goals, or hollow praise, you start to wither. That's when you'll daydream yourself right out of a job and into something more aligned with your soul. And here's where it gets interesting. You don't have to choose between art and income. You can actually be wildly successful when you blend your idealism with your intuitive business sense. You read people without effort. You understand what they want before they say it. This makes you a master of branding, messaging, design, and emotional storytelling. In any creative or service-based field, you don't just participate, you dominate, because you led from the heart and the gut, not just the brain. You make an incredible writer, especially in fiction, poetry, or screenwriting. Your ability to build entire worlds out of emotion is unmatched. You could also excel as a musician, filmmaker, or visual artist, where you can turn feeling into form. Every chord, every frame, every brushstroke becomes a kind of emotional communication that bypasses logic and speaks directly to the soul. But you're not limited to the arts. You also make a gifted therapist, counselor, psychologist, or spiritual guide. People are drawn to your wisdom, your patience, your ability to hear what's not being said. You help people feel seen, understood, transformed. You don't need a doctorate in human behavior, you embody it. Your spiritual depth also makes you well suited for roles like healer, yoga instructor, or intuitive coach. You don't just teach technique, you teach presence, awareness, and emotional restoration. You can help others reconnect to themselves simply by showing up in your full authenticity. Even science-based careers can work beautifully if they align with your love for nature and living things. Think marine biology, veterinary medicine, animal rescue, or environmental activism. These paths allow you to serve the earth, connect with sentient beings, and contribute to something sacred. And for the socially conscious Pisces, social work, nonprofit leadership, and humanitarian advocacy offer you a direct channel for impact. You'll work long hours, but the fulfillment you receive from helping others will fuel your soul like nothing else. One of your secret weapons in business is your ability to trust your instincts. You might not know why something works, but you know that it works, and you're often right. If you learn to combine that intuition with practical skills like time management, negotiation, and leadership, you can become a quietly powerful force in any field. It's also worth noting that while money isn't your primary motivator, it doesn't mean you're indifferent to it. You want financial freedom, not for luxury's sake, but so you can create, give, and live on your own terms. You dream of building something that sustains you emotionally, spiritually, and economically. And when your work aligns with your inner calling, success tends to find you naturally. In the end, your career journey will likely be nonlinear. You'll try things, leave things, reinvent yourself multiple times. But with every twist and turn, you're refining your soul's purpose. And once you find it, once you discover that sweet spot where passion meets service, you don't just build a career. You build a legacy. Numerology of February 28th, Life Path Number 3. February 28th carries a numerological resonance that is both complex and deeply expressive. The most immediate vibration tied to this date is the birth number 1, derived from 2 plus 8 equals 10, and 1 plus 0 equals 1. This number stands as the purest symbol of independence, originality, and leadership. It marks a soul that came into the world not to follow, but to blaze a trail of its own. If you were born on this day, even if you're a gentle Pisces on the outside, there's a powerful undercurrent within you, a voice that whispers, create your own way. Don't copy, don't conform. The number 1 doesn't wait for permission. It moves boldly into the unknown, fueled by purpose and a sense of divine individuality. Yet this is just the beginning. Your life path number, calculated by adding your full birth date including the year, often aligns with either a 3 or a 5, depending on when you were born. Both of these numbers add vital layers to your personality and your destiny. If your life path is a 3, you are here to express. The number 3 is the artist, the performer, the communicator. It dances to the rhythm of creativity and thrives in spaces where words, images, or sounds become tools of transformation. People with this path are gifted with charisma that cannot be taught. You naturally draw others in with your storytelling, your laughter, your ability to turn even mundane moments into something meaningful. For you, expression isn't a choice, it's a necessity. Without it, you feel stagnant, silenced, disconnected from your inner truth. Whether you write, speak, sing, act, or simply inspire others with your presence, the 3 within you insists on being heard, not for attention, but because the soul needs to breathe through creation. The shadow side of the 3 is emotional volatility, self-doubt, and over-identification with others' opinions. You might sometimes mask your inner pain with humor or optimism, but when the applause fades, you can feel hollow. That's when your Pisces energy and your 3 vibration must work together, using emotional depth as fuel for authentic expression. You are not here to please. You are here to shine in your truth, flaws and all. If your life path is a 5, then your soul came to explore. Number 5 is the seeker, the wanderer, the liberator. It values freedom above all and is never satisfied with surface-level understanding. You crave experience, variety, and transformation. Rules are suggestions, routines are cages, and tradition is something to be studied, then reshaped. A 5 will never accept a life that feels like a prison, even if it's gilded. This makes you incredibly adaptive, courageous, and often magnetic. People with this path are usually ahead of their time, embracing change, challenging norms, and inspiring others to step out of fear and into possibility. But the 5 also carries a restlessness that can lead to inconsistency, distraction, or escapism. When ungrounded, the 5 energy runs from everything, including itself. But when focused and integrated with your Pisces intuition, it becomes a force of evolution. You are the kind of soul who travels not just to see new places, but to become new versions of yourself. Every relationship, every project, every lesson adds to your inner mosaic. You are never finished. You are always unfolding. Now, let's bring it all together. 1, 3, and 5. When these energies combine, they create a person who is both a visionary and a messenger. You're not just meant to dream, you're meant to do. You're not just here to feel, you're here to channel those feelings into something meaningful. You might be a quiet rebel, but make no mistake, your presence shakes things up. You bring change without shouting. You inspire without trying. You are a charismatic creator, designed for expression, transformation, and leadership by soul design, not ego demand. This unique numeric blend makes you incredibly versatile. You can lead from behind the scenes or step into the spotlight with grace. You might build businesses, launch creative projects, teach, coach, perform, or write books that touch hearts. Whatever form it takes, your path is about using your voice, whether literal or symbolic, to shift the emotional, creative, and spiritual landscape around you. More than anything, numerology reveals that your soul did not come here to copy someone else's script. You are the author, the director, the actor, and often, the healer, within your own unfolding story. Druid Horoscope, the Weeping Willow. In the mystical and poetic tradition of the Celtic tree zodiac, those born on February 28 fall under the ancient and intuitive sign of the Weeping Willow, which spans from February 25 to March 17. This is no ordinary tree. The willow is the soul whisperer, the emotional alchemist, the dream seer of the forest. And if you are born under its branches, your essence is touched by the same quiet magic. The willow represents deep waters, still on the surface but overflowing with life and movement beneath. Much like this sacred tree, you absorb everything around you. Emotions, atmospheres, and spoken words. You take it all in, like water drawn into roots. Your emotional intelligence isn't just impressive, it's ancestral. People sense it when they meet you. They don't always understand why, but they feel calmer in your presence. They feel seen, understood, held. It's not what you say, it's what you know without needing to say anything at all. You carry the energy of the priestess, the poet, the quiet visionary. You're not loud, but your presence echoes. Willow people are often found in roles where they listen, heal, or guide: counselors, artists, intuitive mentors, spiritual guides, and storytellers. But even if your career isn't mystical in title, your approach to life always is. You seek beauty in broken places. You hear songs in silence. You see light where others only see shadow. The willow is also deeply connected to the moon, and by extension, to cycles of nature, emotion, birth, death, rebirth. You are highly affected by lunar phases, seasonal changes, and the invisible tides that pull on human emotion. This makes you an exquisite reader of the human heart, but also someone who must protect their energy with care. You absorb everything, but you must learn to release, too. Just as the willow lets the wind pass through its hanging branches, you must let emotions pass through you rather than cling to them. There's also a mysterious quality to you that sets you apart. You may feel like an old soul in a young body, or someone who straddles two worlds, this one and the one beyond. People may not always get you, but they're drawn to you nonetheless. You might find yourself often misunderstood, or placed on emotional pedestals you never asked for. That's the shadow of the willow. It's seen as wise and strong, even when it's swaying under the weight of its own inner storm. You may find that you bloom late in life. Many willow-born souls spend their early years feeling different, isolated, or overly sensitive. But with time and self-trust, your gifts begin to shine. Your softness becomes strength, your quiet becomes power, your intuition becomes your map, not just for yourself, but for others. You're also deeply connected to nature and its rhythms. Being near water, rivers, lakes, oceans, can recalibrate your nervous system instantly. Creative rituals, moon ceremonies, journaling, and silent reflection are not luxuries for you, they're spiritual necessities. You are most alive when you feel the sacred woven into the everyday. The Druidic willow teaches you this. Your sensitivity is not your weakness, it's your magic. The world may not always speak your language, but those who are meant to understand you will hear it clearly. And when they do, they'll recognize the soul-deep beauty of a heart that has never stopped feeling, dreaming, or believing in the unseen. You are not here to be loud. You are here to be unforgettable. Flower horoscope, Mimosa. If you were born on February 28th, your symbolic bloom in the flower zodiac is the mimosa, a blossom that perfectly captures your emotional sensitivity, quiet resilience, and deeply responsive nature. This isn't just a flower. It's a living metaphor for who you are, soft to the touch, but not fragile, beautifully reactive, yet capable of thriving in unpredictable climates. The mimosa's most well-known trait is its ability to physically respond to contact. Its leaves fold inward when touched, retreating from harm or harshness. And you, dear soul, do the same. Your energy is instinctively protective of itself, pulling inward when confronted with negativity, aggression, or dishonesty. You don't lash out, you close. But not because you're weak. Because you know your worth. Emotionally, you're a vibrational being. You sense intention, tone, and hidden subtext long before anything is said aloud. Just like the mimosa thrives in clean, sun-kissed air, you flourish in environments filled with kindness, laughter, and authentic connection. When nurtured, truly seen, valued, and loved, you open in ways that are breathtaking. Your presence becomes radiant, your energy magnetic. You don't just light up a room, you change the emotional temperature of everyone in it. You are exquisitely attuned to both joy and pain. Your moods, like the mimosa's petals, reflect the subtle shifts in your inner and outer world. That means your highs are luminous. You laugh from your gut, you celebrate with your whole being, you spread happiness like wildflowers in spring. But your lows can feel bottomless. A harsh word, a broken promise, or a sudden betrayal doesn't just sting, it lingers. And just like the mimosa needs time to unfurl after a harsh touch, so too do you require emotional recovery time when you've been wounded. Your biggest emotional challenge lies in trusting that not everyone who reaches for you will harm you. That some hands are gentle. That love, real love, doesn't hurt. It heals. You bloom best with people who understand your emotional rhythm. Those who don't demand constant openness, but who wait with quiet respect for you to feel safe. People who love you softly, consistently, and without condition. Once you sense that safety, you become the kind of companion who pours joy into every shared moment. Your natural talents, empathy, creativity, intuition, are all mimosa traits in human form. You excel in roles where you can nurture, express, or inspire. Whether it's through teaching, writing, caregiving, or simply holding space for others, you bring an energy that is both comforting and inspiring. Your very presence says, it's okay to feel. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to start again. But with this gift comes a responsibility to protect your own spirit. You must be selective about where and with whom you invest your light. Not everyone deserves your bloom. Not everyone knows how to hold something so sensitive without crushing it. That's why boundaries are your emotional sunlight. They may feel uncomfortable to build at first, but once they're in place, you'll grow taller, stronger, and more beautifully than ever before. When fully aligned, you carry the rare and beautiful ability to radiate happiness in its purest form. Not the loud, showy kind, but the quiet, contagious kind that makes people feel lucky just to stand near you. You make joy feel possible again. And in a world full of noise and numbness, that's a gift more precious than gold. Stone horoscope, amethyst. Amethyst is not just your birthstone, it is your energetic twin. A spiritual ally carved from earth itself, amethyst speaks the language of the soul. Its deep violet hue isn't loud or flashy, but it holds a power that transcends appearance. For those born on February 28th, this gemstone is a perfect mirror of your inner world, serene yet profound, mystical yet grounding, gentle but unyieldingly strong in its purpose. Where others use armor, you use vibration. And amethyst is your shield. This stone has been revered for centuries as a portal to higher consciousness. Ancient civilizations believed it could ward off illusions, cleanse spiritual fog, and protect against negative energy. And for someone like you, who feels everything, sees between the lines, and often absorbs the unspoken emotions of others, amethyst is more than just protection. It's a lifeline. Wearing or carrying amethyst aligns you with your own spiritual frequency. It heightens your natural intuition, sharpening your inner knowing in a world that so often tries to drown it out with logic, noise, and pressure. When you touch amethyst, meditate with it, or even just wear it close to your skin, it reinforces your inner compass. It helps you hear your own voice again, the one that gets lost when you're surrounded by the needs, demands, or chaos of others. But amethyst doesn't just heighten your senses. It cleanses them. As a Pisces born on February 28th, your empathy can be both a superpower and a vulnerability. You often pick up energetic residue from people without realizing it. After a difficult conversation or a heavy day, you might feel emotionally fogged or inexplicably drained. That's where amethyst comes in. Its natural frequency works like an energetic rinse, helping to clear out what isn't yours so you can return to yourself, whole, clear, and centered. On a deeper level, amethyst acts as a bridge between your conscious mind and your higher self. It enhances dream work, meditation, creative flow, and even emotional processing. Many February 28th individuals find that simply holding amethyst while journaling or creating allows their thoughts to surface more freely and their insights to deepen. It's as if the stone whispers, "You already know. Just listen." That's the power it offers you, a return to inner truth. When placed under your pillow or beside your bed, amethyst also aids in sleep and dreaming. It quiets the mental chatter, helps release anxiety, and often leads to vivid, symbolic dreams, messages from the subconscious that help you heal and evolve. For you, dreams aren't random, they're messages. And amethyst is your amplifier. Emotionally, the stone brings calm where there's turmoil. It doesn't suppress your feelings, it helps you understand them. It teaches you that peace isn't the absence of emotion, but the acceptance of it. When worn consistently, it fosters emotional stability, soft courage, and the kind of spiritual confidence that doesn't need to be explained, it's simply felt. Amethyst also encourages healthy detachment, not apathy, but the ability to love without losing yourself, to care deeply without absorbing pain, to hold space for others without setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. This is the kind of healing you were born for, and the kind of support this crystal provides in return. In your personal journey, amethyst is not a decorative trinket. It's a sacred tool, a protective friend, a quiet guide. It reminds you that sensitivity is not weakness, it is a channel for divine wisdom. And when you live in tune with that wisdom, you don't just survive, you awaken. You don't just feel, you transform. You don't just dream, you become the dream. Vedic astrology, Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra for most. To be born on February 28th under the guiding light of Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is to carry a soul etched with ancient symbolism and spiritual depth. This is one of the most enigmatic and powerful nakshatras in the Vedic system. Falling at the mystical junction between Aquarius Kumbha Rashi and Pisces Meena Rashi, Purva Bhadrapada represents the bridge between intellect and emotion, detachment and compassion, the material and the metaphysical. Those born under this star don't just walk through life, they question it, decode it, and ultimately transcend it. You're not here to repeat what's been done. you're here to interpret, disrupt, and evolve. The symbol for Purva Bhadrapada is the front legs of a funeral cot, a chilling yet profound image. It's not meant to frighten, it's meant to awaken. This nakshatra is a portal, a place of spiritual awakening through intensity. You were born to walk through the fires of transformation and come out the other side wiser, more compassionate, and uniquely empowered. Death, in your world, is never an ending, it's a doorway. You instinctively understand that nothing is permanent, and that real truth is rarely found on the surface. This gives you an innate interest in philosophy, the occult, mysticism, psychology, or esoteric sciences. You don't fear the darkness, you study it. Ruled by Jupiter, the great teacher and planet of expansion, you are inherently drawn to knowledge, not facts for the sake of trivia, but wisdom that liberates the soul. You are a seeker in the truest sense. Whether it's through reading, debate, meditation, or personal crisis, you're always looking for the deeper layer of meaning in everything. That can make you seem intense to others, even aloof or difficult to approach, but beneath your often serious demeanor lies a yearning for connection on the soul level. Emotionally, Purva Bhadrapada natives are complex. You may appear detached on the outside, but inside, you carry emotional storms. You often oscillate between states of deep compassion and emotional withdrawal. This duality mirrors your position on the cusp between Aquarius and Pisces. The humanitarian visionary meets the spiritual empath. You love humanity, but often struggle with individuals. You want to save the world, but get easily overwhelmed by interpersonal chaos. This makes solitude sacred for you. You need regular time alone to process, reflect, and recalibrate your spiritual compass. You are not one for conventional life paths. Even if you find yourself in a corporate job or mainstream role, your inner world is rich with rebellion and existential inquiry. You might start your journey playing by the rules, but eventually, your soul demands authenticity. You're likely to pivot, sometimes dramatically, into work that feels more aligned with your purpose. Careers in healing, teaching, astrology, writing, spiritual coaching, or social reform are natural callings for you. You need meaning like you need air. Relationships for Purva Bhadrapada natives can be karmic, intense, and deeply transformative. You don't attract light, easy partnerships, you attract mirrors. Lovers and friends who reflect your wounds, challenge your beliefs, and often pull you into your own emotional underworld. This is not punishment, this is your path. Each connection is a lesson. Each heartbreak, a passage to deeper understanding. Eventually, you learn to discern what is worth your sacred energy and what is merely a distraction dressed in intimacy. Shadow work is a theme that follows you. You are often forced to face the darker aspects of life, not out of cruelty, but because your soul was built for the underworld and the resurrection that follows. You are a guide, a torchbearer, someone who can walk into the chaos and still find the thread of hope. Your pain gives you compassion. Your loss is perspective. You become the person others turn to when their world falls apart, not because you have all the answers, but because you've been there and survived with your soul intact. In spiritual terms, Purva Bhadrapada marks the path of purification through fire. You're here to burn away illusion, ego, fear, and falsehoods. To live as a truth teller, a question asker, a soul revealer. When you embrace your nakshatra fully, you don't just evolve, you help others evolve with you. Your presence becomes a catalyst. Your words, medicine. Your life, a teaching. Spiritual lesson, boundaries are sacred. Your most urgent and lifelong spiritual lesson is deceptively simple: how to give without losing yourself. As someone born on February 28th, especially under the influence of Pisces and Purva Bhadrapada, your soul came into this world with a natural inclination toward service, sacrifice, and emotional openness. You love deeply, care endlessly, and absorb pain like a sponge. But here's the truth your spirit must embrace: you were not born to be a martyr. You have a natural talent for tuning into the emotions of others, sometimes to the point where you forget where they end and you begin. This makes you an extraordinary friend, partner, therapist, artist, or healer. But it also puts you at risk of being drained, manipulated, or simply worn down by the constant demands of those who don't know how to protect their own energy, let alone respect yours. You can only carry so much before your soul starts to bend. And then break. The universe placed a powerful mission in your heart, but it didn't ask you to destroy yourself in the process of fulfilling it. Your lesson is to balance compassion with discernment, to know when to give and when to retreat, when to hold space and when to walk away. You must learn to say no without guilt, enough without apology, and I need space without shame. Boundaries aren't walls that block love, they are filters that protect it. They are the sacred parameters within which your gifts can flourish without being exploited. Ironically, the more you honor your boundaries, the more powerful your love becomes. When you protect your own spirit, you don't shrink, you expand. Your energy becomes clearer, your intuition sharper, your presence more impactful. People will still be drawn to you, but now, you decide who stays and who simply passes through. This lesson isn't easy. You've likely learned it the hard way, through burnout, betrayal, or relationships that asked you to give far more than you ever received. But every boundary you establish is a declaration of self-love. It's you saying, my light matters, too. And when you finally begin to live from that place, you move from wounded empath to empowered soul. Remember this, your giving nature is beautiful, but it's not the only beautiful thing about you. You are more than what you offer others. You are not just the caretaker, the healer, the fixer. You are a soul in your own right, worthy of care, protection, rest, and joy. You came here not to rescue everyone else, but to walk your own divine path. The people meant to walk with you will respect your space. The ones who demand everything from you were never your responsibility to begin with. In every lifetime, the soul learns something new. Yours chose this one to master the art of energetic sovereignty. To finally understand that love without limits is not enlightenment, it's erosion. Real love includes you, too. Compatibility overview. When it comes to compatibility for those born on February 28th, the heart leads the way, but not blindly. Deeply intuitive and emotionally nuanced, you seek relationships that go far beyond surface chemistry. You want magic, mystery, meaning. That's why compatibility for you isn't just about matching signs, it's about matching souls. While physical attraction might ignite things, emotional safety, spiritual alignment, and shared values are what sustain the connection. Each zodiac pairing brings out different aspects of your complex nature. Some challenge you, some heal you, and some feel like coming home. Aries can feel like a cosmic contradiction. Their high-octane energy, impulsive nature, and need for independence can overwhelm your sensitive spirit. While sexual chemistry might be intense, Aries' boldness meets your depth in thrilling ways. Emotional compatibility is shaky. Their bluntness can wound you, and your emotional needs might be dismissed as too much. In love and friendship, misunderstandings are frequent, and unless both people grow significantly, the dynamic feels more like a collision than a connection. In business, their fast pace and your fluid, intuitive style may clash unless clearly defined roles are in place. Taurus offers the kind of grounding energy you deeply crave. Their steadiness balances your emotional waves, and their sensuality matches your romantic ideals. Love flows effortlessly here. Taurus knows how to care for you without needing to fix or change you. They bring you down to earth when your head's in the clouds, and you remind them to look up and dream once in a while. Sex is slow, rich, and deeply connected. Friendships with Taurus are solid and loyal. In business, they bring structure while you bring inspiration. It's a beautiful yin-yang harmony. Gemini may intrigue you intellectually at first, but emotional compatibility is a struggle. Geminis are air, light, fast, curious, and you are water, deep, introspective, emotionally rich. You want soulful exchanges, they want variety and banter. Love may feel shallow, and sexual chemistry often fizzles due to a lack of emotional resonance. In friendship, there may be bursts of fun, but misunderstandings run rampant. Business-wise, Gemini's adaptability and your intuition could work, but you'd need a strong translator between your emotional wavelength and their cerebral one. Cancer is one of your most natural matches. As fellow water signs, you speak the same emotional language. This is a relationship filled with tenderness, emotional attunement, and unspoken understanding. You both value depth, loyalty, and comfort. Sex is soulful, healing, and nurturing. Friendships here are unbreakable, and Cancer will never let you spiral alone. In business, your shared compassion and vision create heart-centered impact. This connection is intuitive, loving, and profoundly safe. Leo can be magnetic, but often a mixed bag. Their passion attracts you, and their confidence can be grounding, but emotionally, they may not always meet you where you live. You crave quiet intimacy. They shine best in the spotlight. Love can be passionate but temperamental. Sex is fire meets water, exciting but sometimes unstable. Friendship can be playful and loyal, and in business, Leo's charisma combined with your vision can generate powerful results. However, compromise is essential to avoid ego-driven conflict. Virgo is surprisingly one of your best matches. Their thoughtful nature, practical mindset, and emotional maturity complement your dreamy tendencies. While you live in the clouds, Virgo builds ladders. Love grows slowly but deeply, and Virgo helps you feel secure without smothering you. Sex is more emotional than wild, but deeply satisfying. Friendships are nurturing and full of mutual respect. In business, Virgo keeps you organized, and you keep them inspired. This is a deeply harmonious partnership built on mutual trust and personal growth. Libra brings charm, aesthetic beauty, and mental stimulation. At first glance, this seems promising. Both signs love romance, harmony, and connection. But beneath the surface, you may find emotional disconnect. Libra avoids conflict, while you need to feel everything, even the hard stuff. Sex is elegant and flirtatious, but might lack the intensity you crave. In friendship and business, things are smoother. Libra's diplomacy and your empathy can achieve a balanced dynamic if there's mutual respect for differences. Scorpio is an electrifying match on nearly every level. You both crave depth, intensity, and soulful connection. With Scorpio, there's no small talk. It's all or nothing, and you love that. Love feels fated, karmic, transformative. Sex is cosmic, often spiritual, and deeply intimate. Friendship is fiercely loyal and emotionally honest. In business, Scorpio's strategy and your intuition can create powerful, purpose-driven success. Just beware, when things go bad, they go very bad. But when it's good, it's otherworldly. Sagittarius is adventurous, free-spirited, and emotionally light. While that might be fun for a moment, you often end up feeling emotionally abandoned. Sag wants space, you want closeness. They joke through discomfort, you explore it. The sexual spark can be explosive, but the emotional connection is rarely deep enough for you. Friendships tend to be casual and inconsistent. In business, their boldness and your vision can generate short-term wins, but long-term collaboration is often difficult unless major compromises are made. Capricorn can offer a strong, stabilizing presence. Their work ethic, consistency, and loyalty are appealing, and you appreciate their ability to take the reins when life gets chaotic. Emotionally, they don't open up easily, but once they do, their love is incredibly solid. Sex is earthy, sensual, and trust-based. Friendship is dependable and respectful. In business, your creativity and their discipline create lasting success. The key is mutual understanding. They must soften, and you must steady. Aquarius fascinates you mentally and spiritually. Their forward-thinking ideas and rebellious streak intrigue your inner dreamer. Emotionally, however, they may feel distant. While they love humanity, they can struggle with one-on-one emotional intimacy, which you crave. Sex is inventive, fun, and a little unpredictable. Friendships are dynamic, thought-provoking, and ever-evolving. In business, Aquarius innovation and your intuition can build something groundbreaking. But in romance, this one requires careful emotional calibration. Pisces, your own sign, can feel like a cosmic mirror. You understand each other in ways no one else can. Love is poetic, mystical, and deeply emotional. You can finish each other's sentences, or weep to the same piece of music without saying a word. Sex is transcendent, imaginative, and soul-merging. Friendships are empathetic, though occasionally too enabling if boundaries aren't respected. In business, both of you may need help with structure, but the creative vision you share is limitless. Together, you float, but only if you both remember to occasionally come up for air. Your compatibility is not just about zodiac pairings, it's about emotional truth. You thrive with people who value your sensitivity, honor your depth, and meet your heart with care. When someone understands that your softness is your strength, you don't just connect, you bloom. Final thoughts. If you were born on February 28th, you were not here to skim the surface of life, you were here to plunge into the depths where others fear to go. You are a rare soul, designed not for the ordinary, but for the extraordinary terrain of feeling, spirit, and imagination. You exist in a space between dreams and reality, where intuition rules, love transforms, and art becomes a language for the things words can't reach. This is not just poetic, it's your lived truth. You are not easily understood, but once you are, you become unforgettable. Your presence lingers, like a melody that plays in the background of people's lives long after you've gone quiet. There's a sacred reason your soul chose to arrive on this day. February 28th isn't a date, it's a vibration. It pulses with mystical energy, creative power, emotional brilliance, and an otherworldly kind of knowing. You've likely felt it your whole life, that quiet sense that you're different. That you see more, feel deeper, dream bigger than those around you. And yes, sometimes that makes the world feel too loud, too fast, too shallow. But don't let that dim you. Your depth is not a burden, it's a gift. It's the very thing that allows you to transform pain into poetry, confusion into insight, and loneliness into connection. You are a healer, even if you never call yourself one. You heal through your words, your art, your hugs, your silence, your ability to sit with someone in their darkest hour and make them feel seen. You are a creator, even if you never pick up a brush or write a single verse. You create space, emotional safety, moments of beauty, and worlds inside your imagination that defy gravity. You are a mystic, even if you never meditate or read a single sacred text. Your very existence is a kind of prayer. Your heart is a temple. Your tears, a ritual. Your intuition, a compass that doesn't always make sense, but is never wrong. Yes, you get lost sometimes. In people, in love, in longing, in dreams that haven't yet found their form. But even in those moments of drifting, you are not broken, you are in process. You are learning how to trust the current, how to surrender without giving up, how to follow your own moonlit map. That ability to wander and still find your way home is your superpower. You don't need all the answers. You just need to stay open to what's possible. Because when you lean into your natural flow, when you stop fighting your softness or apologizing for your sensitivity, you become unstoppable in the most gentle, magnetic way. Your path may never look traditional. You might not tick the usual boxes, or follow the steps others say you should. But that's not your failure. That's your design. You weren't built for straight lines. You were born to move like water, to shape shift and rise with the tide, to reflect light and carry depth at the same time. You don't need permission to be who you are. You just need to remember that your truth is enough. Your presence is enough. Your existence, as it is already more than enough. So live up to this birthday. Own it, protect it, let it guide you when life feels directionless. Let it remind you that you were chosen to feel, to express, to intuit, and to inspire. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are exactly where you need to be, becoming the person only you could ever become. Your sensitivity is not the thing that holds you back, it's the very force that will move you forward. If this deep dive into your soul's blueprint resonated with you, imagine what more the stars, the numbers, the planets, and the symbols have to say. You are not just your sun sign. You are a cosmic masterpiece in progress. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore the other videos waiting for you. They're full of more insights meant to awaken and affirm your path. And if this touched your heart, share it with another February soul who needs to hear the same truth. They were never made for shallow waters either.